Hello and welcome. My camera was shaking. Hello and welcome to the 10th episode of The Journey So Far. This is my 10th video that I've posted to this playlist in 5 months. And I know when I look back on the topics of even some of the earlier videos in this journey of mine, I can say quite confidently that I am not the same person I once was. And yet, there are still, key and core parts of myself, core lessons, core values that never fail to return, even if I do step away from them for a moment. And that is the topic that I want to talk about today. My name's Danielle. If this is your first time seeing me, I run my company, Vibrant Systems. It is my mission to help people deepen their connection to self, to others, and to the environment. And I do that in a variety of ways, including the free content that I make, such as these YouTube videos. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn if you want to reach out to me there. But the topic of this video is the fact that growth is always a spiral. And it is so easy to feel like we're encountering the same lessons. We're almost backsliding in a way when we circle back around to something that we thought at one point we were done with. And this can be discouraging. And it's taken me a long time to really start to integrate the reality that all of our growth is a spiral. Each time we come to those lessons, we come with a new perspective. And if we have been doing healing work, if we have been, uncovering our shadows or learning our values or supporting our bodies and minds in their healing, if we have been doing that work, then we are different than we were when we first encountered those challenges. And for myself, especially in the context of my business, this has been a very salient theme for me in this past month in particular, because in July, August, I made a decision to step away from the title of consultant because the way I was doing it did not feel aligned anymore. It wasn't bringing me joy, and it was really hard for me to integrate my values into that work. And so I moved my focus and my energy into designing my video courses, which are now available. Very exciting for me. My video course, Elements of Self, can be purchased on my website, vibrantsystems.ca. And I'm really pleased with how it worked out. It was such an amazing project, and I found a lot of the material that I created through that. So it's a combination of videos, a guidebook, and meditations to help you embody and integrate some of the lessons. I really found that in the creation of the video course, a lot of the information felt like it came from outside of me. It's not stuff I was coming up with myself. It's stuff that's already there. And I was just putting it into a format that is more accessible to folks. So if you're someone who has been struggling with, say, a sense of balance, inner harmony, or authenticity, that is what my video course, Elements of Self, seeks to help with. It uses the 4 elements, earth, water, air, and fire, as a model and framework for uncovering and embodying what your authentic self feels like. Because we all deserve to connect with ourselves and our authenticity. That's just a side note. I was really deeply embedded in that work, and it was a very large step away from what I'd been doing for the entire year before that, and it was a scary step away. And if I hadn't been encouraged to take that step by some of my mentors, I probably never would have done it. In taking that step, I thought I was leaving behind consulting work, community work for good. I really did. I truly did. I wasn't sure where this path was going to take me, but I was like, obviously that's in the past. I'm not going backwards to that. And then September, end of August came around. And with the lessons that I had also been relearning and re-embodying through creating my video course, Elements of Self, and I realized that the work I'd been doing to uncover my values, the work I'd been doing to connect with myself on a deeper level, the ways I had been talking to other people about how community could be different, the ways that I was going to classes and lessons about decolonization and about understanding collective shadows, has all played into the fact that I've realized I can continue to take on a consulting role. I still don't like the term consultant, so I'm not going to use that. But I still can take on that role, but doing it in a way that is aligned with the skills and values that I have and that I'm embodying. The hard skills that I learned when I was doing my Master's of Public Health, for example, the evaluation skills, the research skills, are still useful, and I will still use them where necessary. But the values that I'm moving forward through now in my business, Vibrant Systems, the importance of diversity, the importance of incorporating a spiritual awareness into community, the importance of finding that balance and harmony and middle path in so many of the challenges that we encounter, are things that traditionally as a consultant, when I was first brought into that space, there wasn't space for them. Because to me, at least, it felt like my values had to take the back seat to the values of my clients. And obviously I was coming in as a newcomer to that space, so I was pretty much taking on whatever clients who would take me to, which of course contributes to that misalignment with values. But moving towards this and looking at it through a different lens of, okay, what if I'm not a consultant? What if I'm a community mentor? Has changed the way I'm moving into that space. And I'm actually in the process of creating a guidebook of sorts to walk potential clients, whether they're clubs or neighborhoods, or they are a more traditional community like a town or village, or they're a business, whoever they are. I'm creating this guidebook to walk them through my process, my values, my perspective, so that if they do choose to work with me, they know who I am authentically. And it was really interesting because it was the spiral. I came back to consulting, I came back to community work again, but with a very different perspective of who I am and what I can actually offer my potential clients. And it was this very reality that was kind of like an apple to the head type epiphany, realization of, oh, this is what it means. This is what that lesson that I've been hearing for years actually means. And I really wanted to share that with you because I thought it was really exciting. So on top of that, which is not something that can yet be accessed on my website, if you're someone who's watching this and you're like, ooh, I could use a community mentor to help with XYZ issue, I encourage you to still reach out to me at danielle.vibrantsystems@gmail.com. We can chat, we can discuss what that looks like for you, but if you're not sure yet, or if you're not someone who needs that, this is something that's going to be coming available on my website soon. The other side of circling back around to new and exciting old topics is it was around this time last year that I first booked what I called at the time embodied leadership. And it was very much based on the lessons of the 4 elements in how they can inform us and guide us towards balanced, holistic, meaningful leadership roles. That session, when it did happen in October, was empty. So I got a bunch of chocolate bars and mandarin oranges to take home. But it's really funny because, of course, many of those same lessons are the ones in my Elements of Self video course. But I am also in October, and these are available for registration on my website, and they're virtual, so wherever you're from, you can join if you are called to. I am hosting throughout October 4 separate sessions of Elements of Connection that are focused on illuminating the collective shadow. And I'm probably going to release another video on this specific topic soon, whether it's this week or next week. But the collective shadow is very visible right now. We're seeing it very much so in the division and anger and reactionary nature of most things right now, given the current events that we're in. And the things with shadows within ourselves on that personal level is if we reject or repress the shadow in ourselves, we project that onto another person. And so if we're someone who is always taking issue with another person's anger or pride or selfishness, that's because that's a part of ourselves we've rejected. And this workshop that I'm doing is really seeking to close the gap between supposedly opposing sides, because many of the traits and judgments we hold about those with different beliefs than us are shadow traits that many folks have trouble seeing and accepting within themselves. And with shadow work on that individual level, the only way to stop this shadow controlling us, because someone who has an angry shadow, who doesn't know how to own their anger, will usually be more angry than somebody who recognizes that rage inside them, because they're going to push that anger away and therefore push away the agency and control they have over it. And when it's projected onto someone else, that other person doesn't need to do much to set off that anger within us. And so on that personal level, we're really asked to approach our shadow with love and acceptance for why we repressed it and for the role it could play in our lives, so that we can integrate it in a good way. And when we integrate it, when we illuminate it, it doesn't have the same hold over us. And in this workshop, that is what we will be doing, with a focus on the collective shadows that we all have and are all impacted by. The exciting part about this, the spiral about this workshop that I'm hosting, is that the 4 elements have come back in this way to guide the integration, the illumination and the integration of the shadow to assist collective transformation. And the wisdom that they brought me this time is so much more nuanced than it was over a year ago. And my application of it, how it's come in wanting to be used, is so much more complex. There's a greater depth to it. And I am really excited about what this workshop could become. So if you're watching this, if you're interested, I invite you to register for one of these sessions. They're in October on Thursdays, alternating times. 1 week it'll be at 7 p.m. The other week it'll be at 10 a.m. to kind of give more freedom of accessibility. Register for them. They are on an early bird special rate right now, so it's a good time. I'm including the link in the bio, but that is at vibrantsystems.ca/services/events. So again, I'm really excited about this. It's been I had to take a break last week to let a lot of these ideas and pushes in new directions really integrate so that I can do it all. Sorry, my cat is being distracting. So he can come on camera for a moment. Yeah, I needed to take a break. This is Leo, folks. To really let these new pulls, this new loop of the spiral integrate so I could make sure that I was moving forward in a way that is aligned with my new path and with who I am finding that I actually am. And from this, I do want to share and remind you as gently as I can that if you encounter something that you thought was in your past, whether it's an old trigger or whether it's a fear or even old partners, old flames who bring up some sort of emotion, it's not a punishment. It's not a, oh, you haven't actually closed this cycle out. Sometimes it's an opportunity to really show you how you have changed and grown in this time. My name's Danielle. Like I said, I run my company Vibrant Systems to help people deepen their connection to self, to others, and to the environment. Follow, subscribe if that is content you want to see more of. I try to post at least once a week, every 2 weeks. You can also follow me on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn if you're called. Let's make your story a vibrant one.